So, did I love Ghost of Yotei? Well, I guess I'm going to talk about it for a bit. I did love Ghost of Tsushima, however you say it. I'm not always entirely sure, right? I did. So an interesting thing happened whenever I started playing Ghost of Tsushima. I had just finished playing The Last of Us 2. I had pre-ordered it digitally. I was ready to play it. I was really into Souls games, but I thought, hey man, I've seen so many good reviews. I like the studio. Let me go ahead and give it a shot. So I did. But here's an interesting thing that happened. I was so just gutted by The Last of Us 2 there was a difficult time to get in to Ghost of Tsushima. And I had people say, "Oh, just play what's it called? Play Sekiro instead." And people were having conversations, which was better, Ghost of Tsushima or Sekiro. Now, I had tried Sekiro and I couldn't get into it, just for whatever reason. It just didn't appeal to me, right? I tried and tried and tried, and just it wasn't happening. Now, years later, I went back and thought Sekiro was an absolute masterpiece, right? So I said, you know what? I should probably go back and try to play Ghost of Tsushima. So the cutscenes were just something I was having a rough time with because the cutscenes and edits in The Last of Us 2 were so seamless, I had gotten sort of adjusted to that. There was an intensity to the story, as much as there are criticisms of some of the LGBTQ aspects of it. Whenever I play a game, unless it distracts me from my enjoyment of the game, I generally don't let those sort of things bother me. And saying this as someone who is in a couple of hobbies that are customarily very friendly towards LGBTQ people, even though I am a fairly traditional Christian, the way I look at it is God loves them. I'll find a way to love them too. You're never going to see me at a gay parade, but I'm also not going to tell someone, hey, I'm not going to hang out with you because you happen to sleep with men. Whatever, right? So the inclusion of a trans character, the rumors going around that Abby was secretly trans in the game, and the attacks on Neil Druckmann because he's Jewish and liberal and sought out Anita Sarkeesian's approvals in the game. All these rumors that were going about. I was like, I just don't care. When it comes to games, I try to look at one thing, and that is my enjoyment of things, right? And there are going to be some games that aren't for me. Like I know that game Gone Home, like that's not for me, right? Not only just because of the subject, I'm probably not going to play some games out there that tend to be called walking simulators that mostly just seem to be political insertions for the game creators. So Ghost of Tsushima had none of that. You were Jin Sakai, you are in Tsushima, you are fighting the Mongols. You're getting stronger along the way. But there was this big discussion about honor, and the samurai as a ronin and as a ghost, right? He's breaking the rules of the samurai to do what he's doing, which is basically being just an assassin, just going around killing, right? And as far as sort of a moral purpose of the game, I think it's sort of this argument that you sometimes have to break tradition in order to accomplish something. And I think that could go for many things, right? If we want to get into the religious or sociological, the political, the philosophical, arguments could be made, right? You also have to have someone who has a firm foundation in their morality so that whenever his character does change, you see it and you feel it. The thing is, with Jinsugai, I related to him as a warrior as much as I could, someone who is a military veteran, albeit not a war veteran, compared to a Japanese samurai, right? But in that adventure, you do feel senses of emotions or ups and downs, and you feel that this person is on a journey. But the question I asked myself after playing the game was, did Jin change? Right? Did he really change that much? And there's this scene where you have the choice between whether you kill a guy who was your former master or not, right? And in my journey, I decided to go ahead and kill him, right? Because I thought, well, this is closing the door on the old ways. This is a new life, right? So when Ghosts of Yotei were announced, as often happens with a certain side of the internet that never goes outside and touches grass, they seemed to be upset when they found out that the new leading character was going to be a woman, right? And then they went and dug up old posts, or maybe they were new posts, I don't know, by the voice actors, indicating that she was, I don't know, non-binary or went by they, them. I don't know or care, making fun of her hairstyle because she had it shaved on the sides. A probably classically attractive woman who had some political opinions that not everyone would agree with. So people were like, oh, I'm not going to play this game. It's probably pushing tribadism on me. And I thought, well, you know what? Just as in most games, I'm going to wait for a sale. So I waited for a sale. And then, as I tell everyone to do, get a Best Buy credit card so you can accumulate points. And I managed to get Ghost of Yotei for about $10, plus a few bucks in tax. That's what I do. I'm a patient gamer. So, here's what I found so compelling about Ghost of Yotei. First and foremost, when it starts, she is on the move. She's rolling. She's been places you don't quite know where. And throughout the story, you know about the starting incident that got her on her path, which is the murder of the people in her family, correct? Everyone knows this going into the game. It's not a spoiler. It's one of the earliest things that happens in the game. So she's been on this journey. She's in her late 20s to early 30s. She's been gone from Yotei forever, right? And you know that she was in a different part of Japan and she'd been doing things before she decided to come back. And as you'll see in this, here's one of the flashback scenes. This is how they tell the story, through flashback. But the interesting thing about telling the story is it's not her entire journey. This is her years and years after the incident, whereas when you meet Jin, you are seeing the beginning of his new journey. You're seeing when he gets his butt kicked in battle and he has to learn to be stealth and learn to do the different things. From the beginning, Atsu is already on her path, right? Her path is vengeance. And what's to counter this sort of whole, this is woke politics, which I hate the word woke. As a derivative, I like to say degenerate. There was nothing degenerate in this entire game. It is a revenge story. And the great thing about Atsu, and I will say this, the voice acting is absolutely phenomenal. This woman or this they, them, I don't care. She absolutely nails the part. To a point where, even as a man, generally I will try to play games where I'm playing as a man or a white woman. I felt no sense of I couldn't relate to this Asian woman in Yotei. And that is an accomplishment both to her acting and to the writing. And now I played the game in English mode with the color on. In New Game Plus, I'm going to play it in the Kurosawa mode. I thoroughly enjoyed the Kurosawa movies whenever I was doing some film classes in college, right? So in this journey, and a little minor spoilers here, you are one half of the twin wolves, the nicknames of these twins as their children. And at one point, fairly early in the game, you find out your brother, who you thought was dead, is still alive. And it brings a whole extra dynamic to this game. Because while Jin really didn't have any family relations, they don't let you forget that this is a woman. They don't have her girl boss it. She has emotion. She is riding high on her emotions. Yes, is she a capable killer? Sure, but she can also get her butt whooped. She is not an experienced samurai the way Jin is. She is a someone who has never been a samurai. She is someone who has wandered, who has learned to fight, who seeks the expertise of others along her journey to become a fighter. And the game, just as they did in Ghost of Tsushima, the game rewards you by trying to go in stealth, by trying to use your kune to win fights, eventually, delving into firearms, etc. And I'm not going to put too many spoilers about what happens, but at she is a woman. She has conversations with others about starting a family in the game, and it's just something her journey, she's so obsessed with her journey, but she'll say, "Oh, that's something I don't plan on doing," and I'll give a slight hint and a spoiler, but because she is a woman in the game, she doesn't have as much control over that as you would think she would, and whenever she starts to meet some members of her family along the way, this is where you figure that out. This is a woman's journey, but it's not. I can do everything. I'm perfect. I'm a Mary Sue, as people say. It's if I don't fight right, I'm gonna get my butt whooped. If I don't listen to this master, I'm gonna get my butt whooped. If I don't use every resource at my disposal, I'm gonna get my butt whooped. And whereas Ghost of Tsushima, I had to play much later in order to get into it. From the moment this game started, I could not put it down. I'm the sort of person who I'll start playing a video game and I'll play for maybe 20 minutes, sometimes an hour. I have to feel it before I can really get into it. The first time I turned this on, I played for 3 hours. I could not put it down. I don't have to say much about the graphics. You can see them here, and this is in like a low quality mode of me screen recording my old Twitch stream, right? Which I don't stream on Twitch that often, but sometimes when I know I've got a few hours to burn, I'll go ahead and throw it on there so someone can enjoy a game they may not know about, right? Which not everyone really heard a lot about this game. People want to talk about, PS5 has no good games. I'm telling you right now, this is one of them. As far as I played this on the PS5 Pro, so I think I did have that advantage of playing it on there. Sensational music, sensational special effects and animation. There's a mechanic where whenever she is drinking, oh gosh, what's it called? The rice wine, sake. She looks drunk. You get some of your spirit back, but you are actually drunk. And if you drink 2 or 3 of them, you will actually fall off your horse, as I found out once in late game, right? So I would go as far as to say this game is an improvement over Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima, I would give maybe an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. I would give Ghost of Yotei an absolute 10 out of 10. They hit every mark. There are some glitches here and there, my headband is blowing too quickly. My character got stuck here. That's just modern gaming. Unless it's a game breaking bug where I have to restart my whole game, I'm not going to deduct points for that. But yes, this game, absolute masterpiece. And whenever you reach the end, it plays out not quite how you think it was going to, and you realize something in this game. This is a person with a broken heart. And I don't mind female characters in games. I think Ellie is a well-written character, even if you don't like some of the characteristics that were put on her. I believe that Aloy in the first game was pretty well-written. In the second game, people got offended because I posted a video that I decided that Aloy was straight because, I said, why not? Because people get offended by anything, and someone said, well, the voice actress is non-binary. Like, dude, I don't care. Just like this woman. I don't care about anything she had to say. I care about her performance of the game. As far as voice acting, someone hire this lady again. She is I actually would check out some of her. A other work. If that includes film, I don't know. This is the first thing I ever heard of her in. But just a absolute legendary voice performance. I don't even know what nominations she got, if anything. But I gotta say, it's very rare that a sequel just makes you want to go back and play the previous one just to make you rethink, like, oh, was this actually better? And I will eventually play it, right? But yeah, this game I absolutely loved. Ignore all the like, oh, the girl boss went too far nonsense, from some creators. Trust me, just go and play this game. I am a straight, mostly white, mutt, male Christian, who is not into liking everything that has a letter next to it. And I absolutely loved the living crap out of this game. 10 out of 10, masterpiece. And that's that.